Hello everyone, welcome back to Back in Diapers. Um, so I thought I would do a little bit of an update today. It's been a while since I did an update, and I know they're not that interesting. They are one of my more less watched videos. But I just like to share what's going on in my life, so I thought I would tell y'all. As you know, I have a job. I've now had my job since about February, March 9th or something like that. February 9th? I don't know. It's been a while. Job is going fairly well. I do enjoy it, apart from, there's a few days here and there that I don't really want to be at work. But at the same time, you gotta do things you don't want to do in order to have a good life. And work is one of those. If we didn't work, we wouldn't have money. I wouldn't be able to have this YouTube channel. Anyway, so the last 2 weeks have been very rough on me emotionally and mentally. Kind of had a little bit of resurfacing of my seizures. I went almost, I would say 6 months, almost 6 months seizure free, except for one absent seizure about 3 months ago. But it was so quick and it barely affected me. But as of last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, when I was at work that Saturday, I had 3 fairly rough seizures at work, and it took me quite some time to recover. I got sent home from work, and I literally slept for the next 24 hours, just on and off. I was exhausted. I haven't had that long of a recovery in probably almost a year. That one was just so rough. It took so much out of my body. Which, because those seizures happened at work, it kind of increased the anxiety at work over the next week or so. And I have gone home early several times, because once that anxiety sets in, even though I try, it's really hard to get it back down to a level that won't cause a seizure. So in most cases, I kind of know if I'm okay to drive home on my own before a seizure is going to happen, or if I need to call my boyfriend to come pick me up. And a lot of times, once I get out of work, the anxiety calms down to the point where it's not going to be a seizure. I did have one Tuesday last week. I did have a situation. It was the first day I returned to work after the big seizures, and I made it about an hour, and I told my boss that I had to go because I was not going to be okay. And they sent me home and everything, and sure enough, that night, it took all the way till that night, I did have another seizure. And so it's such a delicate thing. There's a fine line for knowing if I can drive home or not. And because the reason I can drive at all is because I have psychogenic, non-epileptic seizures. So mine are purely based off my anxiety. And that's why a lot of times, once I get out of the anxious environment, I'll be okay. It just takes some time. Technically, I'm not supposed to drive after a seizure for 6 months, but it's not possible to do in my life right now. I have a job. My boyfriend has a job. We have to, he can't take time off all the time. Time to pick me up and drop me off from work. So I do have to drive. Now, that being said, I never drive if I don't feel I'm okay to do so. I can kind of gauge when a seizure is going to happen and when it's not going to happen. And a lot of times at work, what I did, once I leave work, I'll sit outside and just relax for a few minutes, have a few puffs of my e-cig and or a cigarette, depending on what I've got on me. And I kind of calm down and determine if I'm okay to drive or not. If I'm not okay to drive, I always call my boyfriend. I do have one friend from work who is willing to drive me home if that's the case. So I always make sure that I'm okay to drive. And, the way I've kind of gauged that is, am I feeling nauseous and overheated and shaking? Or am I just feeling like, something isn't right? I usually know. If I'm nauseous and shaking and overheated, I know I'm not okay to drive. Now, if I'm just shaking, that could just be part of the anxiety, and I can usually drive. It's just a combination of things that I look for when I am going to be driving. um, there has been a little bit of a development and at work, and I'm not going to go into details because I don't know if this person would ever see it, and I don't want to give out details. But I have had suspicions that someone around me at work has been faking situations with which she needed to go home. And having seen me have anxiety issues and get sent home for them, she's kind of starting to display these symptoms as well. This person, as far as I know, has no history of anxiety or anything like that. And we've talked quite a bit. We have known each other since I started this job. And, we've hung out quite a few times. We talk a lot. And in the last 2 weeks, only in the last 2 weeks has there been anything going on. Oftentimes, if I decide I need to leave because I'm anxious, she's like, I'm feeling anxious too, I need to go. Which I don't want to be quick to judge somebody on if they have anxiety problems or not. But with this situation, there's just so many things that aren't lining up right and are like totally bad excuses or whatever. And it is kind of not quite confirmed, but mainly confirmed that these are fake situations. My problem with this is a supposed friend for me. They do know the issues that I am having, and to be doing this around me, knowing full well that it could actually trigger a seizure, is just so wrong. And I feel hurt by it because this is a person I thought was a friend and becoming a good friend, and this is going on. And there was a situation last week where this person ended up going home because of one of these episode things, and it severely triggered my anxiety to the point of I had to get out of that building. And I told my supervisor, I'm like, I gotta go. I need to go for 5 minutes at least. So I went outside and I smoked a cigarette and I just took some deep breaths and tried to calm down. And it was bad. I called my boyfriend and let him know what was going on. I was pretty sure I was going to have him come pick me up. And it was just, it was so bad. And finding out that wasn't a real situation for her and having that go and trigger me to that point where I thought I was going to have a seizure at work again and go home, that is just, it's such a betrayal to me. Like, I've confided in this person about the way things affect me and whatnot, and I've confided in this person, and they turn around and do this. That's just like the ultimate betrayal. And I am now distancing myself from this person. I am not really talking to them. And my bosses are even going to the point of, my neighbor just walked by and gave me a weird look because he sees me talking to a computer. But I have talked with my supervisor, and we're going to the point of I will remove myself from the situation if need be. I will change my desk. And I have chosen my desk based off of a lot of criteria that help me out. And if I have to move to make it through a day at work, then I will do so. But my boss is being very accommodating for me in this situation, and even going as far as, letting me leave, and then they'll go and get my stuff in my computer and, close down my computer and everything for me. So that's really awesome. The main thing I was worried about with this person, or with this situation, is that if this person's faking it and, she's going home when I go home and all this stuff, is this going to affect how they see me? So I actually addressed that with my boss yesterday, and I'm like, look, I don't want to be a part of this situation, because when someone is faking this situation just as it's happening to me for real, it looks bad for me. It looks like we're in cahoots and doing this together and faking these to get out of work. That is not the case. I am there to do my job. I do my job to the best of my ability, and I have worked really hard to get to this point in my life where I can even be at work all day. And my boss assured me that they do not think I am faking in the least. They know I have issues. They've witnessed an actual seizure that was confirmed by a CNA as a seizure. And they knew of this problem when I was hired. So they do not believe I'm faking, which put me at peace a bit, because that way I know I'm not going to get fired over what's going on. So I just need to get that off my chest. I've kind of said a couple of things here and there, but I just need to get it off my chest. And don't get me wrong. I don't think most people are faking in these situations, but there are some telltale signs usually when someone is faking a situation like this. And I really hated, I've been dealing with this for 2 weeks, and I really hated the fact that I was thinking of this with one of my friends, like thinking that one of my friends is, faking some pretty serious issues to get out of work. And, I didn't want to believe it, but after discussing the matter with my boss and really kind of examining the situation, it's not officially confirmed, but it is fairly well confirmed, especially in my mind, that that's what's happening. And so I am going to be removing myself as much as I can from that situation, and I am so glad that my bosses are going to help me do so. And I just have to keep myself. Sorry, my computer's dying. I know I need to shut up. But I just have to, I've struggled so hard for my life to be to the point where it is, where I am not having seizures on a daily basis, several times a day. I've gotten it down to so spread apart, and that I'm able to drive and work again, and that's huge. I have been struggling with my health for the past 10 years, and 10 years later, I'm finally able to hold a steady job and work every day. It's a struggle for me. It really is. To be able to out of the house every day, to sit at a desk all day, even just sitting at a desk answering phones all day is so hard to do. Just on my body. My body really doesn't do well with that. It would rather be at home sewing and working on my home business. Anyway, so I have rambled on a lot today. I know some videos coming up are kind of long, and this one is going up today, which is the 8th, and the other one, I'm not sure if it'll go up today or later on the week. I kind of like to space them out. But anyway, so yeah, life has been a little crazy for me, and I'm just looking forward to it getting better. There's some things coming up that I'm super excited about that are gonna just completely change my life, and I'm so happy. And I will kind of let you guys know as it transpires, or however the whatever the word is, as it occurs. But it's some really awesome changes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video or like any of my other videos, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can get updates of when I post new videos, which I know is not that often. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and a share. And let me know, have you ever had a situation with a friend or someone around you kind of mimicking your situation and, faking things to get out of other things? I don't know. This is really one of the first times it's happened to me to this level, and it's got me upset, and I'm trying to talk it out and work through it so that it doesn't keep affecting me every day. However, I do see this person every day at work, and it kind of brings it up, and it's really hard to deal with. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.